Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to the Daily Shift Story, the place where stories don't just entertain you, they change your perspective. Today, we bring you a magical tale filled with love, sacrifice, and unexpected twists. A story that teaches us one powerful truth. Real beauty isn't seen with the eyes. It's felt with the heart. So don't skip. Stay with us till the end, because the lesson hidden in this tale just might shift something deep within you. Get ready for a journey of enchantment, emotions, and a timeless message. This is The Frog Princess, a fairy tale with a heart. Once upon a time, in a vast and magnificent kingdom surrounded by forests, rivers, and golden fields, there lived a wise old Tsar. He ruled his land with justice and kindness, and he had 3 sons whom he loved dearly. The eldest, Dmitri, was strong and serious, known for his bravery. The middle son, Boris, was clever and ambitious, always seeking fame. And the youngest, Ivan, was gentle, kind-hearted, and often found lost in thought, staring at clouds or talking to animals. One day, the Tsar gathered his sons in the royal courtyard. He was growing old, and he wished to see them married before he passed on the crown. "My sons," he said, stroking his long silver beard, "the time has come for each of you to find a bride, but you shall not choose them yourselves." The brothers looked at one another, surprised. "You will each take a bow and shoot an arrow into the air. Wherever your arrow lands, you must find your bride." The princes obeyed. They took their bows, aimed toward the sky, and fired. Dimitri's arrow landed in the courtyard of a nobleman. He returned with the nobleman's beautiful daughter. Boris's arrow flew into a merchant's garden, where it was found by the merchant's clever daughter. But Prince Ivan's arrow flew the farthest. It soared over fields and forests, past rivers and hills, until it disappeared into the depths of a dark, misty swamp. Ivan set out alone to retrieve it. He wandered through reeds and mud, swatting away mosquitoes and listening to the croaks of frogs. Finally, in the middle of the swamp, he saw his arrow, lying beside a large green frog. The frog blinked slowly and said in a clear voice, "Do not be afraid, Prince Ivan, I am your fate. Take me with you, and we shall be wed." Ivan's heart sank. "A frog," he whispered. "How can this be?" But he remembered his father's words, "Wherever the arrow lands, there you will find your bride." So, with a heavy sigh, he gently picked up the frog and placed her in a silk-lined basket. When he returned to the palace, the Tsar was shocked. "Is this your bride, Ivan, a swamp frog?" "Yes, father," Ivan replied. "This is where my arrow led me." The Tsar frowned but said nothing. Instead, he announced a test to judge the worth of each prince's bride. The first challenge, the royal loaf. The Tsar spoke. "Each of your brides must bake me a loaf of bread, not just any bread, but the softest golden loaf ever tasted in this land." The nobleman's daughter and the merchant's daughter got to work. Their kitchens were filled with servants and flour, spices, and ovens. Ivan returned to his chambers and placed the basket with the frog on the table. He whispered sadly, "How will you bake bread, dear frog?" The frog looked up at him and said, "Do not worry, my prince, lay your head down and rest. All will be done." Ivan trusted her. He slept at midnight. The frog quietly jumped onto the floor. She whispered ancient words, and in an instant, she transformed into a beautiful woman with long golden hair and eyes like emeralds. She wore a dress made of moonlight and stars. She clapped her hands. Magically, a golden oven appeared, and ingredients floated in the air. She baked a perfect round loaf, its scent filling the air with sweetness and warmth. Then she returned to her frog form and waited. In the morning, Ivan woke to find a golden loaf wrapped in silk beside him. He was amazed. When the Tsar tasted each loaf, he nodded at Dimitri's and Boris's, but when he tasted Ivan's, he closed his eyes and smiled. "This," he said, "is the bread of a true queen." The second challenge, weaving the royal cloth. The Tsar ordered, "Each bride must weave a carpet, one so fine it can only be seen as a dream, and touched like air." Again, the nobleman's daughter and merchant's daughter worked tirelessly, calling in maids and experts. Ivan sat quietly. "How will you weave such a cloth, my frog?" "Rest, Ivan," said the frog. "All will be well. Again, at midnight, she turned into the magical maiden, and this time, summoned silver thread from the moon and blue silk from the sky. She wove a carpet with birds that shimmered, rivers that moved, and stars that twinkled. In the morning, Ivan awoke to a rolled carpet beside him. When presented to the Tsar, even he gasped. "This is not a carpet," he whispered. "It is a vision." The final challenge, the royal ball. Finally, the Tsar declared, "There will be a grand ball. Each of you will bring your bride. I shall choose which son will be king based on their queen." Dmitri and Boris were confident. Their brides wore gowns of silk and jewels. Ivan, however, looked down at the frog in the basket and felt sorrow. "Not be sad," said the frog. "Go to the ball. I will come later." At the ball, music played and nobles danced. Suddenly, the doors opened and a hush fell across the hall. A woman entered, radiant as the moon, in a gown that shimmered like the northern lights. Her steps were graceful, her smile warm. Ivan stared. It was his frog, now a princess. Everyone was mesmerized. She danced like the wind, and when she moved, even the candles flickered to follow her. She danced with Ivan, and together, they glowed brighter than stars. The secret revealed after the ball. Ivan asked her, "Who are you truly?" She smiled and said, "I am Vasilisa the Wise. I was cursed by an evil sorcerer and turned into a frog. Only a prince who could love me, even in my frog form, could break the spell." Ivan was overjoyed. But one day, in his excitement and fear of losing her, Ivan burned her frog skin. "Now you can never return to that curse," he said. Vasilisa turned to him with tears. "Oh Ivan, you have broken the rules of the spell. I must now vanish for a time." And with that, she disappeared in a swirl of mist. The quest for love heartbroken, Ivan wandered the world, through forests, mountains, deserts, asking every creature he met, "Have you seen my beloved Vasilisa?" He faced trials, dragons, riddles, and storms. He gave kindness where he received none. And finally, deep in the frozen north, he found her trapped in a crystal tower. With the help of creatures he had helped along the way, a bear, a bird, a bee, he broke the curse. Vasilisa ran into his arms. This time, there were no more curses, no more spells. They returned to the kingdom together, where the Tsar welcomed them with joy. Ivan became king, and Vasilisa ruled by his side, wise, kind, and full of light. And so, the people of the kingdom said they had never known a more just or gentle pair of rulers. And whenever a frog croaked in the swamp, children would giggle and say, "Maybe that's someone's princess, just waiting to be found." And they lived happily ever after. The end. Asterisk, moral of the story, conclusion. This tale teaches us that true love looks beyond appearances. Prince Ivan chose to honor his fate and respect his unusual bride, even when she seemed strange or unworthy. In doing so, he discovered a treasure far greater than beauty, a wise, loyal, and magical companion. The story also reminds us that kindness and patience often lead to the greatest rewards. We should never judge someone by their outer form because true value lies within. And sometimes, what seems like a curse is actually a hidden blessing in disguise. In the end, love, bravery, and trust broke the spell, proving that when the heart is true, even the impossible becomes possible.